Hey, how we doing? Back again. Anyway, I'm over here. I've got the camera set up so that it looks at the keys real sharp, because we're going to get in more detail and slow it even down a little more than we did last week. Get back into really working on how to put a song together. Now, when we first started, I worked with three keys with you: C, F, and G. Okay, and since then I wrote a song, and I'm calling it. You've probably seen it on YouTube now. It's Slapping It Around. But if you haven't, take a good look at that, because I wrote that just from exactly C, F, G, and exactly from what we talked about in those first few lessons. So take a look at that. And you've been working with C, F, G, and you've come up with different things that you're doing. So you can combine that. And the thing is that you've already gotten going on that. And it's good to, every time you sit down, just play something that you've been working on with the CFG, and just get more and more and more familiar with it every time you sit down in front of a keyboard. And that'll make it a lot easier for you. And this, the group of chords that I showed you the last two times, where I have the one group that was from Rapper Piano, then under it I just have the transformation down to the group that we're working on. Well, what I did for today is that make sure you can see all this stuff. I got the camera set up different, but I think you can see that. Let me try it again. Be patient with me, please. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do, we're going to work on trying to write a song. And I'm going to go real slow, and I'm going to just use the first line. In other words, the first line that I had you working on, and that's under the first line. The first line is Rapper Piano, and the second line is what I wanted you to work with last week and get familiar with. I'm going to hold that one up too, but only for a little second, just to remind you of where it is and where you can find it. It's on those lists in the last couple of lessons. Okay, that gives you a little bit of a look into it. Okay, now I've got two little pages up here, so we'll start working. Now, the first chord is C. The next one is A. Okay, let me put this mic back in here. All right. Okay, here we go. So we've got C. And what I did is, we have to find some kind of feeling in what we're doing. So first we come up with some chords, and we don't have much feeling in that. We're just putting chords up there, and then we're going to work and make a song. Well, so we already got the chords, and now we have to figure out what we're going to do as far as making a song. So what I did here is I put the word looking under C, the word into under A minor, and under D minor, I put a sunset, and under F, I put and G, I put what, C, I put do, and E minor, I put I see. So we've got looking into a sunset, and what do I see? And then on the second page, to complete that first line, under A minor, I have a silhouette, under E minor, of a person, under D minor, looking back, and under E minor, at me. Okay, so you can slow this down later and listen to my words and just write them down. Just stop the thing and write start, stop, start, stop. Okay, so to start off, I've got the letter C for the C chord, and I've got the word looking under it. Well, what do we want to do with that? So we look at the fact that it's looking into a sunset, and what do I see? So looking, and then into, a sunset. And what do I see? Okay, and that's what I've got on the first page. So now, to write all that in there, I went looking. So we had C, let's see. Yeah. So I had C, G, A, G, E. I mean, C, G, A, G, A. Okay. C, G, A, G, before I went into A minor. So let's write that in there. It's hard when we're doing this stuff because I had C, A, no, C, G, C, A, no, C, G, A, G, A. Okay, if you look at that, we've got C, G, A, G, A. Okay, so our first letter was hanging in there for a minute. Then we went. So I would say that this would be a quarter note, and this would be 2 eighth notes, and 2 eighth notes. And then we go on to the next chord, which is an A minor. Now, we're using 4/4 time, so we have to make sure we have 4 beats to a measure. So this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then that would be our bar. So we have a C and 4 eighth notes. Let me do that. Now this is going to be 4 beats. We have a quarter. No, that's only 3 beats. Okay, so we have a quarter and we have 2 eighth notes. And then, so what we need to do for that last one would be to put 2 more eighth notes or a quarter note there. So I think I'm going to add another note. Let's see how that sounds. That sounds pretty good, so we'll try that. Okay, so this is what we've got now so far. So here we go. Now we're going to go into the next, in other words, looking. Now I'm going to go for the word into an A minor. Now let me just put something together that's a little longer than that, just goofing around so I can figure out if I'm going to actually get something that's going to work into a further situation or not. So we've got C. So that sounded good. Let's see what we got here. Here's a C. Now, let's see if we can write all that in there, because that's what I just felt like putting on there. So let's simplify a little, and let's take a C chord again. We'll play what we put in there first. So we have C, G, A, G, A, A. Then I went to A. Let's see if probably different than what I started with. Okay, for A minor, I'm just going to do, which is a C and a D. Okay, so now you can see what we've gotten. We've got the C and the A. We have 2 bars now. And now we'll be going into the D minor. I have to apologize. I've only got 15 minutes to work with each time that we're doing this. So I'm going to, in a minute, cut you off and start again. And what happens with that is that we go to another, a second part. So we've already done the first part of the lesson, then we'll go in and just look for the second part and go on to that and continue on. I'm also going to put it up as a caption up in the right-hand corner so that you can also click on it that way. So either way, you'll be able to either click on the caption for the next one or go to the next actual part, which will be part 2. So I'm going to go ahead and click the camera off and then immediately start again. Okie doke.